I'm going to reveal to you the secret of how to make any woman think about you nonstop. But before we dive in, let me warn you, this isn't a quick fix or a cheap trick. This is a serious guide with 4 key rules, and if you follow them with the right intentions, you'll see amazing results. Use this power for good. Never manipulate or take advantage of someone's feelings. Now, let's start with the core of everything, the chemistry. It all begins with the emotional connection you establish. Emotional connection doesn't mean being overly sentimental or spilling your deepest, darkest secrets right away. In fact, sharing too much too soon can actually backfire. Instead, it's about demonstrating that you're the type of person who can fulfill her emotional needs. You want to show her that you're the one she's been searching for, that you're the man who can make her feel seen, heard, and understood. When you're spending time together, remember that it's not just about being there, it's about how you are there. The time you spend with her should be enjoyable, lighthearted, and fun. This is where you create memories, spark attraction, and make a lasting impression. Make your presence felt without being overbearing, and always leave her wanting more. But what happens once you've reached that phase where she enjoys your company and you're starting to build a bond? How do you make sure she continues thinking about you long after you've left? That's exactly what I'm going to teach you in this video. So, pay close attention, because the first rule is critical. Rule number 1. Do not be predictable. This is the most important rule of all. If you want to keep her thinking about you, you must keep her on her toes. Predictability kills excitement. You need to introduce an element of mystery and create some emotional tension. You want her to feel like she has to keep working to maintain your interest. For example, if you're the guy who always texts, "Good morning," or "Good night," cut back a little. If you always initiate conversations first, let her take the lead sometimes. This creates space for her to wonder what you're doing and why you haven't reached out. If you usually text her back right away, don't be afraid to wait a little longer. Make her excited to see your name pop up on her phone. This is a subtle way to spark curiosity and make her start chasing your attention, just like you once did with hers. Make her wonder what you're up to. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is oversharing their life on social media. You don't need to broadcast every moment of your day. Stop posting pictures of your meals, where you're dining, or who you're spending time with. You don't need to reveal the exact location of every happy hour or weekend hangout. Instead, keep a little mystery about your life. Less is more. By not posting every detail, you create an aura of intrigue around you. The less she knows, the more her curiosity will be piqued. Being mysterious isn't just about what you share on social media, it's also about how you manage communication with her. Sometimes the key to keeping a woman interested is giving her the space to miss you. Disappearing, at least temporarily, can actually heighten your attraction factor. I'm not suggesting you vanish for weeks at a time, but a little disappearance every now and then works wonders. For example, let's say she sends you a message in the morning and you don't respond right away. Don't feel the need to reply within an hour or even a few hours. Let it be a whole day before you respond. When you do, send something along the lines of, "Hey, I've had such a hectic day, but I hope your day has been great. I'm about to head to bed now, so I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Good night." This subtle delay in response does a couple of things. First, it shows that you're not sitting by your phone, waiting for her message. You're busy, you have your own life, and that makes you more attractive to her. Women love the idea of a man who has a purpose, who isn't just available at the drop of a hat. When you reply after a longer than usual delay, you're subtly signaling that she's not your top priority, and ironically, that will make her more interested in you. No one wants to date someone who seems overly eager, clingy, or desperate. A stable, self-assured man who has his own life is incredibly appealing. But there's a fine line here. You don't want to disappear for days or weeks at a time. That could backfire and make you seem disinterested or even rude. Some dating coaches might suggest going off the radar for several days at a time, 3, 4, or even 5 days. However, let's be honest, If this woman is attractive and has options, she's not going to find that strategy appealing. She'll just think you're being shady or that you're not that into her. Instead, keep things balanced. Pop in and out of communication every few days, but always on your own terms. Make it clear that you're the busy one. By doing this, you'll subtly encourage her to think about you more when you're not around. And when you do engage with her again, she'll wonder what you've been up to, what's going on in your life, and why she hasn't heard from you. This will spark her curiosity and keep her thinking about you long after the conversation ends. As you begin to create this little disappearance from time to time, don't be surprised if she starts to wonder about you more deeply. She might find herself thinking, does he have another woman in his life? What is he so busy with that he's not giving me the time of day? This is exactly what you want. You're standing out from the crowd of other guys who are constantly available and predictable. She'll begin to feel the tension of wondering what you're doing, why you're not responding as quickly as usual, and whether or not she's losing your interest. This subtle shift in behavior will make you feel mysterious and different from all the other guys she's talking to, which only increases her attraction towards you. Now, let's dig a little deeper. As time passes and you start to pop in and out of communication, she'll likely begin to feel the pull of curiosity. She may even say something like, "When am I going to see you again?" Or, "I've missed talking to you." This is when you know your strategy is working. She's starting to wonder more about you and anticipate your next move. The more she thinks about when she'll hear from you next, the more she'll find herself emotionally invested. Rule number 4. Make the plans after being busy. Let me clarify what I mean here. It's important to remain a little elusive and less available during the first few days, but there's a key moment where you'll need to re-enter the conversation. This is when you make the plans. After you've been playing hard to get for a few days, and she's started to feel a little anticipation, this is the time to take charge and set things up for the next meeting. The key is to focus on what she's been up to when you start talking to her again. Don't immediately talk about your own life and how busy you've been. Instead, ask her about her day or her week. People love to talk about themselves, and this makes her feel like you're genuinely interested in her. When you do talk about yourself, be brief and don't give away too much. Keep things mysterious. If she asks you, "What have you been doing?" answer briefly, but don't elaborate too much. Keep the conversation light, but leave a little space for her to wonder. For example, if she asks, "What have you been up to?" don't just say, "Oh, work, the usual." Instead, say something like, "I've been swamped with work lately, but I'm finally starting to catch up. What about you? What's been keeping you busy?" By doing this, you're shifting the focus off yourself and keeping her interested in learning more about you. You're leaving gaps in the conversation that she'll want to fill with questions about you. Then, after a few messages, you can suggest making plans, but don't just throw out a vague offer. Be direct and confident about it. Say something like, "I'd love to see you this weekend. I've been really busy, but I think we could use some time together. How about we grab dinner on Friday night?" By doing this after being busy, you send a powerful message. You are in demand. You're not waiting around for her attention, and your time is valuable. This is incredibly attractive because it shows that you have a full life, and she's not the center of your universe, yet. The fact that you're taking the initiative to make plans after your disappearance also shows that you are in control of the situation. By now, you've probably got her thinking, "What has he been up to all this time? Why hasn't he been texting me back immediately? When will I see him again?" This will build anticipation, and by the time you finally do make plans, she'll be more excited than ever to spend time with you. And that's exactly where you want her to be, in suspense, eager, and emotionally invested. Eventually, you'll want to make plans to see her again. But here's the trick. Don't rush it. the time that passes between your interactions is actually crucial to building attraction. When you make her wait just a little bit, it creates a sense of excitement and anticipation. Think about it. If you were available all the time, the allure would start to fade. But when you make her wait, that time apart builds the emotional tension and makes her even more eager to see you again. So when you're ready to make plans, approach it like this. Hey, I'm tied up for the next couple of days, but I've got some time on Friday night. How about we grab a drink around 7? This simple, straightforward message shows that you're busy and in demand, but you're still making time for her. The slight delay before confirming plans makes her anticipate the meeting much more than if you immediately set a date. It keeps her thinking about you in the meantime, building the curiosity about who you are, what you're doing, and when she'll get to see you again. In my training sessions, I always encourage my clients to adopt this strategy. Why? Because you don't want to fall into the trap of becoming just a text buddy who's always available to chat. When you keep your texts short, to the point, and closed-ended, meaning you leave the conversation with a natural, gentle pause, it maintains your value in her eyes. You're not bombarding her with messages every second, but instead allowing space for her to miss you, to wonder about you, and to look forward to the next time you connect. This is how you stick out in her mind, how you leave a lasting impression that makes her eager to spend more time with you. Remember, women are drawn to men who have their own lives, who don't revolve entirely around the relationship. If you're constantly available, you run the risk of becoming someone she takes for granted. By creating a balance of attention and space, you remain intriguing. However, it's important to remember, if she's not reciprocating any of this, if she's not showing interest or making an effort to connect, then she might not be as invested as you are. And that's okay. It's a sign that you should move on and focus your energy on someone who truly values your time and attention. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more valuable content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you stay updated on new videos. Keep shining your light and unleashing your potential. Stay confident, stay mysterious, and keep building those connections.